إلى رب العالمين والصلاة على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. So inshallah we'll continue our class, which is explanation for level 1 or level 2, sorry, of our book Muslim Basics. And as you remember, last week we start the unit of Zakaah, and we already talk about different types of Zakaah, or which type of wealth that the Muslim should give Zakaah. And as I said, for those who didn't study level 1, I encourage you to attend also on Wednesday, because on Wednesday we study level 1, and in level 1 it is very important lessons about Zakah, even for those brothers and sisters who already studied level 1. I encourage them to go back and review it and join us also, because in fact it put the basis for this advanced level. Alhamdulillah. And today we, inshallah, will speak about who is eligible to receive the zakah. Because as we said, zakah is an act of worship. That means it's a money portion of the wealth of the Muslim, that if he met certain conditions, and these conditions, as I said, we already discussed in level 1, and this money that will be given should be given to certain groups or types of people, not for anyone, not for everyone or anyone. It's very important to understand and to remember. It's not just to take money to give it to someone that we think that he's in need. And today, inshallah, we'll talk about this. So the objective that we hope to achieve today, inshallah, is these are the objective. The first one, distinguish who the eligible recipients of zakah are. Who are they? Understand each category, each group, so we know and we distinguish between every type and the other, and know the types of wealth which the zakah is not obligatory in. This is related to our previous class when we said zakah is not must on everything. So here we call it Masaarif. Masaarif mean masrif. That's mean a way that you spend the money on. This is why they call the bank in Arabic bank. It's called Masrif. Masrif because it's exchange money. So Masarif is plural of Masrif. So here means where to spend your zakah, where to give your zakah. Okay, where you spend your money. And so there are groups of people who are deserving to receive the zakah. Not everyone. And it should be, the wealth should be, or the zakah should be given to them. And this was stated very clearly in the Quran. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين والعاملين عليها والمؤلفة قلوبهم وفي الرقاب والغارمين وفي سبيل الله وابن السبيل فريضة من الله والله عليم حكيم. The charity, zakah, the obligatory charity means, is only for the fuqara. And we'll explain every one of these terms. Fuqara means poor, and very, very poor. And the masakin. The masakin are also poor, but they are in better situation than the faqir, the first group. And those employed to collect the funds, as main officials who are in charge of collecting zakah. That means they were assigned by the ruler or by the government. And to bring the hearts together, that's mean to attract people to Islam, or to get their support, and we'll talk about this also, and to free the captives, and to pay off the debt, people who are in debt, and for Allah cause, and this including fighting for the cause of Allah, to defend Muslim land, or to make da'wah, or to spread Islam and teach people about Islam, and for the way farer, that's mean a person who is traveling and he's in need for some support to reach his destination. And then Allah Azza wa Jal complete this ayah by saying this a duty imposed by Allah. And that's mean giving these only this group. Innama, that's mean only this group are entitled to receive the zakah. And this duty imposed by Allah, which means must. And then Allah said, and Allah is the all-knowing, all-wise. You know what? Why? I mean the wisdom behind putting this legislation, because He is the all-wise. Now let's go through these 8 categories and to explain more about each one of them. The first one is the poor, faqir. Poor, that means fuqara is more and faqir is singular. This is a person who possesses less than half of what he and his dependent needs. Less than half. That means just something that he eat or spend. He cannot get even half of what he need. Very, very poor. That means he's in need. Now the needy or the miskin, and plural masakin, the person who is in better position than the first one, the poor, but nevertheless, what he possesses does not meet his need nor the need of those who depend on him. He's still in need. Now, these two words, my dear brothers and sisters, faqir, miskin, poor and needy, in fact, it is the same meaning in general. In general, it is the same. A person he doesn't have enough or sufficient income or financial means to be spent on something that he and his dependent need to. So generally, whenever one of them mentioned, it will include the other. So when we say faqir, this will include miskin. And when you say miskin, that's include faqir. So when we say poor, it's mean poor and needy. And when we say needy, miskin, that's mean include needy and the poor person. If they come separately, that's mean one of them was mentioned. But when they both come in the same context, that mean here we can make the differentiation between the two types. So we say the miskin is in better situation than the poor. So these are the first two groups who are entitled to receive the funds with zakah when the Muslim you want to give it away. The third type, as you see it here, those who employ to collect the funds. Now, those who collect the fund and the government, if the government doesn't give them a salary, if they get paid by public office or by the government, by authority, then they will not be given directly from the zakah. But this public office may, if he is in need, he takes some of this zakah to give it as a salary or give it to support those who are collecting the zakah. Then it is for the ruler to give them from the wealth of zakah if they don't receive any payment from the government here. The fourth type, this is very critical that we need to understand it very carefully. These are people whom zakah may given in order to reconcile them upon Islam. Sometimes they are non-Muslim, even disbelievers, because in general, zakah should not be given to non-Muslim, should be given to a Muslim only, and this is the only exception. That's mean you have a family or a person who is in need. He is very near to Islam. He like Islam, like Muslims, and have good relation with them. And he's very near. And if you give him from the zakah to show him the kindness of Islam and the Muslim, how much Islam care about other, this may encourage him and his family, people around him, to understand the mercy that is in Islam. And Islam is not only just a matter of worshiping God by prayer, but also it is about caring about others. May this encourage him to accept Islam. So we can give him from this zakah, it's okay. Or, as it said here, that may embrace Islam. Or a Muslim, in order to strengthen his faith. He's a new Muslim, for example. He's a Muslim, embraces Islam. And he's in need. He's not rich. He doesn't have enough income. He's not poor or needy, but still he has some needs. And by supporting him also, this will strengthen his faith, so he will not be in need for someone to go to take from him, like church or other organization, that they may affect him, like what they do with the missionary in Africa, for example. They take advantage of the need of the people, so they take their children, they teach them Christianity, they change their faith, and the family are in need. Therefore, so instead of this, Muslims should support them, so they will not be in need for anybody else, to strengthen their faith and keep them, as a good Muslim. Or it may sometimes be a person of evil character. For example, a person, like there are some famous, especially these days, like in the media, as you see, social media, or some journalist, or some who they have a big influence on what they call it, the general or the public opinion. Okay, affect the opinion of people. And he's always, talk ill about Islam. He doesn't want, even he knows that Islam is the best and the good, but because, of certain reason, he doesn't want to speak good about Islam. So he tried to make, like what they call it, Islamophobia. Such person, for example, if the Muslim ruler, okay, the Muslim community, they try to get him close, maybe give him some of the zakah, at least to deprive, him, stop him from insulting Islam and Muslim, and stop his evil. This is also another aspect of bring hearts together. This means getting soften the hearts of the people, either by strengthening their faith, by encourage them to become Muslim, or by stop their evil if they have some influence. I think this is very clear. Number 5, to free the captive. This in the past, a long time ago, more than 100 or 200 years, when slavery was everywhere. This one of the means that the Islam planned to free slaves, because Islam doesn't encourage slavery. Islam always encouraged to free the slavery in different ways. One of these ways is by the zakah. So if the government or the public, authority, they have enough fund of the zakah, they can give those who own these slaves, and pay them to free their slaves. So this is one which is also of the way that zakah should be given. Some scholars, they said that even it is okay to liberate a Muslim, for example, if he is in siege by the enemy, and they ask for ransom, for example, and there's the only way to save him, then also it's okay to give them from the zakah. The sixth one is to pay off the debt. The debt is a person who's in debt. And people are of two, this two types as mentioned here. One who's taken debts for the purpose of helping the community, helping others. And one who is in debt himself because of his need. The first one is a person who is in debt because he is working to reconcile between opponents. So there are, for example, different groups in the community, and they have, for example, fighting, or they are looking for blood money because one killed the other, or one of the other side, and there will be dispute that will make troubles in the community between these two groups. And there's a person who are respected, from everyone, and he came and said, well, let's settle down this situation. So the people, for example, who are they are looking for the blood money, they said, we want them to pay off what they did for us, and he may need some money, some fund, to give to either party or both party as a means to settle down this dispute in the community. Therefore, because of his limited sources, he may become in debt because he promised this group, this person, that person, and when he doesn't have all this. So in this case, this person, even he's rich by himself, but he's not required to spend from his own money to this, because this is something which is related to the safety of the community. Therefore, it is okay to give him, to support him. This is the first type. The second type is the one who has a personal debt. That's mean because of his need, he borrowed some money, he took loans, and he's not able to pay off this debt. Even he has a good income, but whatever he has, it doesn't cover his needs, and something will be left to pay off the debt. So this person also, he can receive part of the zakah. The seventh group are for Allah cause, fi sabilillah. This will be spent the person who is fighting in the Allah's cause. And this, my dear brothers, should be understood that fighting in Allah's cause, this is only through the Muslim ruler. It's not right for anyone or any group to go and form group and to fight, and they said we fight in the cause of Allah. This is not the way. The way is that should get their command by the authority, the Muslim, well-known, confirmed Muslim authority, like a state, okay, a ruler of a state, like a king, a president, okay, or any authority, official authority in a Muslim country. So maybe they are in need to defend the country. So there are some people who will volunteer, who will fight under the flag of the country, of the state, okay, the Islamic state. So therefore, a Muslim state. So in this case, this fund of zakah could be one of the means to support, to give these people who are fighting for the cause of Allah to defend Muslim and to defend Muslim community. And also to support students of knowledge of Islam who plan to study and learn, so they get involved in da'wah to teach people about Islam, to go around and spread Islam and introduce Islam to others, and they need some funds. So this is also one of the type of fi sabilillah, as mentioned by some scholars. The last one, for the wayfarer. He is a traveler. This is the person, a traveler whose journey was interrupted, and his finance have run out. And in fact, this happened, especially if you remember during the Corona time. You see, at the time of Corona, when all, uh, you know, air, for example, airports were stopped and blocked, there are some people who stuck. They were traveling in other country and they may be stuck in the middle, in the connection city. I remember one, for example, he came from South America. He was going to China because he is working in China. And then when he arrived to Indonesia, and then they stopped all flights to China. So he was stuck in Indonesia. He stayed there for 8 months. And he was blessed because he found some Muslim around and they helped him. He was not a Muslim. So this is a person who is a traveler. He didn't expect that he will stay in the middle, for all this long time. So he ran out of fund. So this an example. So even the person is he's rich in his country. Maybe he's in his country, he's a professor or a doctor or no matter, or maybe a businessman. But during his journey, he couldn't find any way to go back to home, and there's no way to have access to his money or his wealth. We know that these days maybe it's not difficult because of technology and using internet. The person he can get in or get access to his bank account to run any whatever he is. But this we know that Islam is talking about the life of people from the time of 1,400 years back, when it's happened before. People, if they stuck in one city, even he's rich in his town, but for example, he came to a city far away from his home land, and then money was his stolen or was lost, and now he has nothing even to eat or to pay for the hotel to stay or to pay the ticket to go back to his home or travel to back his. So this is a person, he is in need for some money to help him to return to his homeland. Even as we said, he is rich. Now, is he must, when he go back to his country, because he has enough money to pay back this? No, it's not. And it's not. Because this zakah was given to him when he was in the time of need. But this maybe encourage him to feel the value of obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he understood the wisdom when because he's wealthy, when someone tell him to pay his zakah. These are the 8 category, as I said, and this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned them, specify these groups in the Quran. So nobody will have any dispute about them. Nobody can add some or delete any group. They are fixed. I hope this is very clear. And this is where the zakah should be given. So the Muslim should know about these. In some countries, like here in Saudi Arabia, for example, there is a public office who can collect the zakah. That's mean people like businessmen or wealthy, they can pay their zakah for the government uh, because there is a special agency who are caring or taking care of zakah by receive it or collect it and spend it. Now let's go to this issue, which some people sometimes they are confused about them, and I found it's very important to talk about it. Okay. The first one is Zakah is not obligatory open monthly salary. Because many questions asked about this. Do I have to pay Zakah every month because of my income? It's not. No. Because Zakah is not taxes. Be careful. Some people, they said Zakah is Islamic taxes. It's not tax. Zakah is not tax. It's different. Okay? So it's not must on everything. And it's an income, for example. But if you, from your money, you receive your money, you spend it, no zakah. Let's say that you spend part, but you was able to save some. Let's say, for example, you receive 10,000 and you spend 7 or 8,000 and you can save 2,000. And this money was cumulative, to the end of the year. 1 year passed and you found in your account, let's say 10,000 riyal, that you didn't use it, you are not in need for it, it isn't a saving. In this case, this saved money, then the one that you pay zakah for. But for the salary itself, there is no zakah. So this is the first one. Zakah is not obligatory on all types of wealth, which are of personal use. Anything that you have it for personal use, there is no zakah. Such your car, your house, a land that you bought, and you are waiting to collect money to build it, no matter how long it takes, as long as your intention when you bought this land to keep it for you to build a house, the future, then no zakah in this. Okay? But as we said, if the person intend to sell the house or the land and trade with them and make profit, then it is mandatory for him to pay the zakah for this when 1 year pass from the date of offering this for sale. What does this mean? I'll give you an example. You have a house. Even you are living in the house. But you said you put it in the market. You want to sell it. You are waiting for a good price. And then for the full year, it was not sold. So after one full year from the time that you put it in the market, then you evaluate the value, how the cost as it's in the market, and that money should be given 2.5 of that price as zakah. I hope this is clear. And why? Because it's like a matter of trading now. You're trading in the same thing for the land. If you have a land and put it in the market for sale, 1 year pass on this land from the time that you present it in the market, then you calculate the estimated value of that land and you give 2.5% of that value as zakah. But as we said, if you keep the house, the land for you for personal use, no matter how long it's even many years, then no zakah in this. Right? Now, many people they ask about stock share, especially many people now involved in this share marketing. So if the person owned them with the intention of staying in the company whilst being a partner, that means he hold this stock share and keep it, okay? So he can get a profit, benefit, and some return. Then this money is liable for zakah. So it's calculated according to how much the company has. And after reaching the nisab and one Islamic year pass, as we mentioned, then he calculates how much is his share. The money that he has in this company, and then he will give away the zakah. Now, there are some companies, like here in Saudi Arabia, by the government, um, companies here are required to pay zakah. If the company pay the zakah for everyone in behalf of all those who own structure, then and they deduct it before they give them, their profit, then it's okay. If not, then the person is responsible to do this process. And here, my dear brothers, whenever a person in this situation, the best matter is to ask. I mean, he present his case to a scholar or someone who have knowledge about the rule of zakah, and tell him, this is what I have, this is what I do, how much I should pay and how much I should not, something like this. Taking fatwa. Because, my dear brothers, there are differences in what type of business this company is doing. So, for example, the business of agriculture trade is different from the business of industrial matters, or selling and buying. So there's different types. Therefore, we cannot give general rule for all. There's certain specificity, specific conditions or special cases that should be taken in account. طيب. There are different opinions among the scholars with regard to gold that is used for adornment. This gold that mostly ladies, they keep, so they wear it, they put it as necklace or around their neck or in their hand as bracelet or any of these types of gold, okay? They use it. And some of them are, some of this gold is too much. So ulama, scholars are different view. One of the view that as long as this for personal use, there is no zakah. This is one opinion. The other say, since it is gold and it is only rarely used, then there should be paying the zakah. So what is the best matter here, or the one he want to be in the safe side? It is better to give the zakah of this gold. But if he said, I use it, and he didn't pay, there's no harm, because there are scholars who say it is not must on them. Alhamdulillah, by this we finish our class today. And inshallah, next week, inshallah, we'll start the unit of fasting. And I think we are in need for it, because Ramadan is around only 2 months, away from now. So inshallah, next week we'll start talk about fasting. You have any question about zakah, about what we said today, or about what we discussed last week? You can ask if you like. Yeah. Okay. It seems that, mashallah, everything is clear, inshallah. May Allah bless you all. I pray the sisters and brothers. And is there any questions, Sarah, in the chat box?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Dr. Yahya.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister, welcome.
None, Dr. Yahya, from our chat box.
Okay, there is one question. I think it's said here. I think this is direct. Okay. How about investment in crypto or crypto? I didn't understand this question. Can you
It
explain
didn't
to me?
appear in my chat box, Dr. Yahya. Probably my connection a while ago. That's why I
Okay.
did not see it.
Okay, it said, how about investment and I don't know if I read this word right, crypto or crypto, CRYPTO.
Okay, crypto. This is Dr. Yahya Investment Online. It's famous
Mm-hmm.
probably about 5 years ago or 8 years ago. It's
Mm-hmm.
um online. They put I'm not sure, but I heard about this already about the crypto. But this is investment, Dr. Yahya. They invest certain amount and they get additional what do you call the payment.
Mm. Well, I need from the sister or the brother who sent this question, please, to give more detail, to send it. Maybe you can send it to, if you are in the WhatsApp group, or you have my WhatsApp number, you can send it to me in detail, or to Sister Sarah, because we cannot, give any answer unless we know exactly what is, all the conditions of this transaction, of this process, more detail about it. We cannot say this is lawful or not lawful unless we have full information about the matter. So that to see if it is meet the rules of Islam or if there is a violation. So, for example, investment in what? Investment, what are the rules for this investment? Okay, many things that we need to know. So I suggest that I think the sister or brother who sent this question, please to provide more information about it. Barakallah. Yeah. Another question? Okay, Jazakum Allah khair. See you inshallah on next Monday. We'll start studying or talking about fasting. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.